Hey, what's going on, team? It's Ricky with Learn Plan Profit. Hope that you guys are all having a good start to the morning. I'm going to start sharing my screen just so you guys can see exactly what it is that I have going on here. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Let's see. Let me make this a little bit bigger. Here we go. All right. So one of the things that is super clear right now is that crude oil has been pushing up and recovering ever since that news that came out about the, I don't know if you guys even looked into it, but if you guys have TD Ameritrade, you can scroll a little bit down, and there's just so much news that's being released right now, right? That's driving the price up for crude oil. Easiest way for me to put it. So, in my opinion, this is going to be a pretty crazy crude oil report, right? The report comes out in about 30 minutes. All I want to remind you is to, be patient and please, please, please be selective. You definitely don't want to, what's it called? Try to jump in, especially with all the volatility that's happening right now. I mean, these movements are pretty huge, even when it comes down to how it moves within the future. There's an acquisition yesterday. They're still waiting for approval if it's gonna by United States to see if it's gonna get if they're gonna allow the acquisition to happen. There it goes. It's still showing signs of a bullish pattern. So again, the more that this thing pushes up, the more that UWT will then continue to push up. So here we go. All right. But how are you guys all doing this morning? You guys doing good? It looks like it might begin to change its overall direction. So right now we're right around 1241, 1242. So again, don't be afraid to just give something a little bit more time to identify its direction. We also just have 30 minutes before the report, and yeah. There we go. Anyone having issues with TD Ameritrade freezing? Yeah. It's been on and off, right, on the platform itself. So mine's been freezing, and I've had to restart the TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim platform. So there it goes. All right, looking at /NG. Strong push up. Good morning. Good morning. /NQ, overall descending pattern, but looks like it's beginning to hold above the SMA line as of right now. So if this continues, then that would be in favor of, so UWT just made higher highs right now. So that means that /CL is then pushing up, right? /GC. So gold pulling back a little bit. Let's see how these are playing out right now. So gold with a and JNUG, right, with a solid sell-off. JDST with a strong push up, but it sold off quite a bit yesterday. So yeah. Let's see what happens here. Is there any stocks that you guys are, oh wow, /NQ, which means for the overall market, just broke above the middle VWAP. So it looks like it's trying to change directions. It looks like it's in the very early stages. Again, it was selling off, trading between the middle and bottom VWAP. Again, it's barely above the middle VWAP, so again, it doesn't mean much. But if higher highs continue and then it makes those lower highs as well, then I think that'd definitely be something to just keep an eye on, right? Wow. You guys with a huge sell-off. Holy smokes. Wowzers. Is buying and holding DGAS a good idea? Well, I mean, it's very like, I don't know how to /GC just broke above. I don't know how to answer that. At any indication of something no longer being a good deal, I would lock in profits, but that's just me. So if you see that this is oversold, then why not lock in profits, right, on Diaz? That's the way that I look at it. Again, yeah, it can continue to sell off, but overall, it's been an ascending uptrend pattern. So because of that, I wouldn't just bet on it to continue to sell off. I think that's the best way to put it, right? Getting a lot of consolidation. A second position when you want to. I try not to take two positions at a time. It's been very rare where I ever take two positions at a time. I just, I try to stay very micro focused on. I actually don't think, especially not during like a live stream or anything like that, I've ever taken two positions at the same time, or have had two things at the same time. It just doesn't make sense to me. As sometimes I'll try to trade crude oil and then I'll try to trade natural gas, maybe, if I see both pushing up. But at the end of the day, I really just like to focus on one play. And that's the way that I like to do it. So it doesn't mean that that's how you have to do it. I just think about it like this. I just find it to be maybe a little bit more complicated if things begin to change its overall direction. I only have two screens, and if I'm watching the future on one and the ETF on the other, it's just not going to be in my best interest, to say the least. So UWT pushing, yep, thank you for that. So there it goes, the MACD. This thing's all over the place right now. So I'm excited to see how this report ends up coming out. If it ends up coming out not in favor of crude oil, that's going to be interesting. So if we end up seeing a huge sell-off on UWT, I feel like that's going to be super interesting to see something that's been absolutely just ripping it, right, the past day and a half, if that, right, on how it's been pushing, and to see maybe how it begins to change its overall direction. So I think there's be a lot of potential, right, but with this volatility comes great risk. So yeah, I just you're more than welcome to try that. I just don't think so. We got J Trip, don't trip. So Ricky, why don't you place stop orders above and below to get the big plays? If you're talking about like when the reports come out and stuff like that, we've seen multiple times where they change directions very quickly, and I just, again, if I have a stop loss on something, so like let's say I'm in on UGAS and hoping that it goes up, right, or crude oil. So let's say I'm in UWT and hoping that it goes up, but I'm going to manage my risk with a stop loss or a stop limit because the report comes out so quickly. I answer this pretty much every single Wednesday and Thursday because people always ask. But when the report comes out, it's an instant type of reaction, and it just sells off a decent amount that I'm afraid that if I put a stop loss, right, it will just run through my initial target dollar amounts. Like let's say I put a stop loss at like 1240, that because it pushed down so quickly that I won't actually get filled to like 1220 or 1212, or do you get what I mean? It just runs through it. So because of that, if you think that you can make it work for you, test it out, especially with like paper trading or simulation trading. At the end of the day, like you never know until you try, right? That's the whole point of you guys trying that simulation trade and stuff like that. But 100%, if you think that you have a way to set it up that will work for both sides, then it's up to you. I just don't like playing it like that. Paper trading fills don't work the same. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't used it in a while, but yeah. So did you get into JDST? No, I was just watching it. Because I've been paying attention to gold and how it's been selling off after it pushed up so much, right? I think it's so interesting to see some. It's definitely beginning to consolidate. Do you guys see this? So it pushed up quite a bit, beginning to consolidate. And if it does, it has a lot of margin to give back. So, wow, look at that. Here it goes. WTI resistance from top. All right, I like that. Okay. Yeah, crude oil definitely still pushing up, overextended right now. That's the scariest part, that if it just chooses to correct itself, right, that it 100% can. So. I wouldn't say that, you know, that you have to follow the same way that I do it, right, Ivan? I just want to make sure that you understand that. So the way I do it is, especially with the volatility, I've been trying to watch my position size a little bit more carefully, especially if I get in a little bit early, right? But like, let's say you have confirmation and it's beginning to show signs of an uptrend. I'll go in with 20 or 30% originally, and then I'll add 20 or 30% as it continues to go up. Especially if it's something that has a really nice margin. It's not about like what's the lowest price that you can buy it for. It's just, having that confidence and feeling comfortable as you're adding more to your position size as something is increasing in value, right? So I would normally do it with 20 to 30%. If you even want to try it with like 10%, just to get some skin in the game and stuff like that, and not have much in it, but just to get a feel of how to average up. Again, Ivan, there's no right or wrong way. It's you just figuring out like which way you feel most comfortable. And yeah, that's, I think, but definitely, it's just the overall direction. Why don't you trade gold ETFs much? I used to trade gold, like JNUG and JDST pretty often. I don't know. I've had a big focus on crude oil and natural gas the past couple of months, right? Here it goes, beginning to pull back a little bit. But yeah, there's I don't know, we don't even talk about it that much, right? But /SI, there's the silver futures, right, and silver ETFs. You guys have to understand that, like, this thing has been showing signs of very consistent uptrend pattern. I think it's like USLV, right? USLV that follows it, right? It's showing signs of a strong uptrend pattern, and DSLV. This is why this is the inverse, obviously, and it's not showing signs of an uptrend. But this is why I tried to remind you guys that, like, just because I trade something doesn't mean that it's the most lucrative. It doesn't mean that it's the best at all. Like, we have people that trade gush and drip, and I don't trade that anymore, right? Just because I don't find it attractive. There's a lot of people that don't find UGAS and DGAS attractive, and that's fine, right? Trade what you know. Trade what you know. Trade what you feel comfortable trading. Don't be afraid to try new things, especially if you're in that learning stage. And let's be honest, we're all in that learning stage as we're scaling, right? The market's always changing. We're always learning new things about ourselves, how we deal with emotions, and all that crazy stuff. So, yeah. /CL beginning to pull back a little bit. UWT is following. So can you explain what you have? That's just like a pattern, right? That a fancy way for people to identify patterns of, like, This would be a really bad example, but let's say right here, because it pushed up, pulled back, pushed up, and then let's say it gets rejected again, they could view this as a double top and then overall continues to sell off. It's the idea that this pattern will tend to repeat themselves. The double bottom is the same thing where it builds a double support and then it builds kind of this like W of, it sold off, pushes up, pulls back, bounces at the same support, and then continues to uptrend. At the end of the day, it doesn't have to do that. It's just something that a lot of people will try to I don't know. It might be a common pattern. I don't trade them very often, so I can't speak from experience with that. I don't really care for double bottoms. I don't really care for double tops. By then, I'm already locking in profits, or by the time it's already at the bottom, I've already cut losses, right? So it's good to know them, and there's so many patterns like that people try to create names for, and double top and double bottom are very popular ones. The more you know, the better you can do. At the end of the day, would I trade solely off of a double bottom setup? No, I don't care about it. Confirmation and direction is the most important part for me, right? And making sure that the opportunity cost is worth it. So, Ricky, I'm curious about what you think about eToro. I have no opinion of it. I've never used it. I don't know. I've never downloaded the app. Nothing. I don't feel comfortable sharing an opinion when I don't know something. I've never personally used it, so my opinion is going to be as irrelevant as someone else just commenting on a YouTube video, right? It's all about the reaction, Phil. I'm not looking for anything specifically. I think it would be, because crude oil is so bullish, I think it would be ideal, and agree or disagree with me. And if you're tuning in, feel free to share your own opinion. But I think it would be ideal for there to be a pullback, right? So for it to not be in favor of crude oil, the reason why is crude oil as a whole is bullish right now, right? Meaning that it's aggressively pushing up. So if it does pull back, it finds a support and then begins to recover, it's more bound or more likely to continue to, or to actually recover, in comparison to, just imagine DWT sells off, right? And it sells off, but it's an overall descending pattern. Is it likely to recover? Maybe a little bit, but as long as this overall direction continues, it will most likely continue to sell off. Do you get what I'm saying? What common pattern I want to ask you guys, I think that we should all, what would you guys say? So what common pattern should you watch out for mostly? I'm really interested to hear what you guys have to say. So if there were to be a common pattern, first of all, do you think that there would be a common pattern that you would encourage someone to constantly look out for, right? Or what do you think is most important to you when you're trading? What's the most important to you? I'll share mine after. So. Okay, so we're getting a lot of feedback, right? Got a lot of people saying uptrend, overall uptrend with a dip. Okay, so overbought, overextended, so maybe when to lock in profits, right? Uptrend pattern, clear support and resistance and support on level. Okay, bull flag all day. I can see that, Ivan. Uptrend, SMA support, overall direction. And so I got your name, but I don't know if that was actually your name. I don't know how to. I'm sorry. I don't know if that's your username. In my opinion, for a beginner, right? If I were to be speaking from my experience, when I was first getting started, let's be honest, my entry points were not the best, right? My buys, my exits were not the best at all, right? Let's be honest. I think a lot of us can agree on that. I wasn't the most efficient buyer and seller, right? I wasn't the most efficient person in cutting losses. I wasn't the most efficient person locking in profits. I wasn't the most efficient in anything because I was a beginner, right? I think every beginner can relate to that. So what can you do to not guarantee, if anything was guaranteed in this market, then it would be super easy, right? But what can you do to help yourself out? I think focusing on overall ascending uptrend patterns. We have a lot of people that try to focus on dip buys, especially with like lower cap stocks if you look at the big charts on them on the 180-day chart, they all sell off, right? So with that being said, I think that if you focus on the direction of the stock that you're investing in, and that's simple, again, you're trading to learn, not trading to profit, right? So all you should be focused on is growing your account or just trying to. So I think if you focus on stocks that, if you're focusing on a day trade, then focus on a stock that has a clear uptrend direction within the day. If you're focused on a swing trade, then look at the 180-day chart or whatever time frame that you want to focus on, that the overall direction, big picture, is in your favor. Do your part to the best of your ability to get in for a good deal. But I think because you're not the best at buying, because you're not the best at selling, and because you're not the best at, cutting losses, if you at least have the overall direction in your favor, it will just only assist you in making it that much easier for you to come out on top. Do you get what I mean? We're deal hunters. That's something that I would like to instill you with, not just with the stock market, but with everything. So inform yourself on how to find a good deal when something is uptrending. But yeah, that would have to be something that I think would, again, you guys might be saying, well, Ricky, like sometimes we see you trade ones that are not actively ascending and you try to buy the dip. 100%, again, I'm not a complete beginner. And at the end of the day, you have to understand your position and what you're trying to do. You're trying to prove to yourself that you can grow your account, not that you can make a profit. Because again, what you're trading with right now, what I'm trading with right now, right, is not what I can be trading with a year from now, 2 years from now. It's all about scaling once you have confidence, a track record, and experience, right? But you need to build that. So I would say, from my opinion, I think overall direction can definitely assist you in playing in your favor. That would be my number one focus. And you guys can feel free to share, your own opinion. We had a lot of people talk about uptrends, right? Talk about overall direction, confirmation, certain patterns such as like bull flag patterns and avoid descending patterns and stuff like that. But yeah, I think keeping it super simple in that aspect. I know it's not a glorious response because it's not a pattern, but I think it works. Of course. What's your name? I didn't. Is this your name? So I don't know how to. Oh. What's going on, Fazian? What's up? Guys, we got 8 minutes until the report. It looks like /CL is beginning to pull back a little bit, right? Do you see this? But again, overall ascending uptrend pattern. So allowing the opportunity to present itself. Yep. What report? The crude oil report. This report better be good. How many of you guys that are tuning in right now, let me get a show of hands or a little emoji. My name is Arif. Okay. Sounds good. So, Arif, appreciate it. Thank you for letting me know. How many of you guys have been feeling that the past couple of reports, both natural gas and crude oil, due to market volatility, have been a little different? Would you guys agree? Or would you guys say like, no, they've been normal for you? I think that they've been a little different. Last week happened so fast. These reports used to be my favorite time to trade, but with the market volatility and how it's been reacting, it's a little scary, right? And if you end up getting in quickly and it just plays out in your favor, cool. But even then, ask yourself, like, that might have been a little scary, right? Because it was so aggressive. Yeah, it's my biggest focus is, again, allow these reports to build yourself a margin of opportunity. And if it presents itself, then great. If it doesn't, then just remind yourself, probably not worth taking the trade, right? So I'm not feeling good, guys. I don't know what's going on. My stomach, I feel like a stomach ulcer or something. Allergies? No, I don't have allergies. I appreciate it though. Eat more greens, yeah. Easy on the canes. Honestly, I ate canes last night at like 12. Holy smokes. I haven't felt sick. Like, it wasn't sick. It was like right now, I feel a little anxious. I don't know. We're good. Maybe it's because we're too excited for the crude oil report. Sorry about that, Brendan. I don't know why it tried to hide it, so we buy ETFs. Hi guys, when you say that you have met your daily goal of 1.5% return, do you mean 1.5% of your entire capital? Not of my entire capital, because most of the time, if it's not the beginning of the month, so just Ivan, if you're new, I trade with $100,000 and I don't pay myself until the very end of the month. So mid-month, I have more, right, than $100,000. So I don't trade with all of that. Sometimes, again, it's not exactly $100,000, but more or less, I either try to take a position that's around $100,000. So you guys have seen that there's been multiple times I'll take one of 70,000. Sometimes I'll take one of like 105, 110. Altogether, I base it off of $100,000 position because that's what I intend to trade with. Do you get what I mean? So that is my goal. And first of all, it's about hitting that goal consistently, right? You want to set a goal that like pushes you a little bit, but doesn't exert you, right? Change your diet. What goes in? Yeah, true. Yeah. But yeah, that would 1.5%, in my honest opinion, for a complete beginner. I would, if I was a complete beginner, if I could break even, and this is my opinion, if I could break even as a complete beginner, as I'm learning and practicing everything that I'm doing, if I could break even every single week and every month, right, I think that would be a start. It's about getting the ball rolling and then maybe aiming for a 3 to 5% growth on the month, right? And planning out your trades, allowing an opportunity to present itself, being selective. Champion of breaking even here. Hey, Matt, like, I still, you have to like admit, you're in your very early stages of trading, right? And you still, I think that we can both agree that, I still feel like I still have so much more to experience in the market. And, it's not about like a get rich quick. I think it's a beautiful thing that if you enjoy the process, there's nothing wrong with like building wealth or, building this side hobby slowly. It's all about scaling and feeling comfortable with what you're doing, and enjoying the process, right? So 3 minutes playing stop buy orders on DWT. Alrighty. Where is West today? They're all asleep. Everyone's asleep. I've been up since 4 in the morning. I like that. I'm super happy to hear that, right? So some people, right, and I think, Ivan, we could all agree, it's like you're saying that this group is great, way to help me out and enjoy the process. I like that. Some people resonate very well with the material that we share on YouTube, and some people don't like it at all. They're either more aggressive or more conservative, and they think that that their way is the right way, and we're wrong. Like, day traders are wrong, and at the end of the day, like, we can't do anything about that. It's just we're here to stay in our lane, surround ourselves with people that not just talk about all the positives about a market, but talk about what can go wrong. And trust me, I think if anything, I talk about what can go wrong every single day because I make a mistake every single day. So yeah, enjoy the group. Don't let a few bad apples ruin it. 100%. If you guys ever feel like, and I've said this multiple times before, so we have one minute until the report comes out. I've said this multiple times before. My overall goal for this group, TechBot Solutions and Learn Plan Profit, is not to have someone that dominates in the market and make everyone else feel inferior. It's a networking group. We're here to help one another out, and if you're not helping someone out, then I'd rather you not say anything at all. I don't care if you're the best trader in our group. If you subjugate other people and make them feel, if you just subjugate them and make them feel dumb or stupid, or by asking questions, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. And if you feel like that by anyone, feel free to report them, send me a direct message, and I'm here for you, right? All right, guys, we got 10 seconds. 10 seconds left. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm actually not surprised it pushed up. Whoa. Look at that volatility. It did this last time, yeah. And then last time it changed its overall direction, remember? So for those that are tuning in for the first time and don't understand what's going on, some of you guys might have been asking, well, where's the report? How can I read it? Would that help me out? At the end of the day, if you want to read the report, all power to you. You literally can search up crude oil report or natural gas report on Google, and it's the first link. One of the things that I want to share with you on how I trade it, I'm not saying that this is the only way to trade it or the right way, it's just how I do it, and I've made multiple mistakes many times, but a report comes out and it's an instant reaction, so I don't even bother looking at the report. I trade the recovery, if it actually recovers. The report came out, sometimes it's in favor of the future, sometimes it's against it, so you'll either see a push or a drop, but it's an instant reaction. So normally what happens is it pushes up, it becomes overextended, it consolidates, and then when it recovers, I'll trade the inverse ETF. That's how I approach it. Sometimes, and many times, especially lately, it'll push up, it'll consolidate, and then just continue to push up and it'll hold. It won't actually recover. Trust me, again, the market's been just a little bit more inconsistent, and because of that, yeah, so it's a data table. Yeah, it is. It talks about your overall demand. We can make a future video talking a little bit more about how to read it for those that really care to. But at the end of the day, I don't actually care about the report itself. I just trade the recovery and we wait for confirmation. That's the biggest thing. So inverse would be DGAS of you guys, right? I didn't see a question. Yeah, DGAS selling off after that rejection, right? / NQ. We're getting a lot of consolidation here, right? So this is one, again, direction. It was selling off. It was making lower lows. Think about it. It's not really making lower lows right now. It's kind of consolidating. So this could be a very early stage of a potential reversal, or it can continue to sell off. There goes natural gas, still being bullish. And then crude oil. Wow. I didn't expect this. That was a huge sell-off. But wow. It's still, I mean, you guys have to see, well, Ricky, when would it be time to maybe trade DWT, right? The inverse ETF. One of the things that you guys need to understand is that it hasn't really broken its pattern. although it's not uptrending as aggressively, right? Like as it was before, think about it. It's pulling back, but altogether, it's still kind of making higher highs and higher lows. So with that being said, there is no pullback confirmation. It doesn't have to pull back today. Just think about that. And as you're watching your screen and you're hoping that it pulls back, a reminder is that at the end of the day, it doesn't have to. It can continue to push up. If it does, what can you do? What can you do to set yourself up for success? If you don't want to stand behind your computer screen the entire day and be inefficient, right? If you want to be and have a productive morning, what can you do, right? What can you do to allow? Oh wow! Look, there it goes. Set alarms, set alerts, right? Keep it simple. Set alerts when you think it would make sense to get in. And there goes DWT. I mean, it's not really making higher highs. It's still right around that middle VWAP area, so just keep an eye out for that. But yeah, I'd be very careful with crude oil right now. I like that. And again, there's nothing wrong with sitting behind your laptop, and if you're doing other things and you just like looking at the charts, again, if you're just new to trading, it probably seems very interesting to you and all that fun stuff. But I'm just telling you that like you don't have to, right? You can set alerts and maybe be a little bit more efficient, right? So Gary, what is a reasonable spread between? There is no reasonable spread that I look for. It's, I'll add more to my position size. Like let's say I want to add 3 times, I'll add 2 times, and if I see that I'm too close to the resistance and I haven't added my 3rd time, again, you have to think, you don't have to add that 3rd position. You don't always have to be fully invested. The biggest thing is feeling comfortable, and if it's already pushed up too much where it doesn't make sense to add more, then guess what? Don't add more. It's keeping it that simple. You need to understand what you're doing. As something that's increasing in price, is it making higher highs? Are you getting confirmation that it's increasing in value? If so, does it make sense to add more then to your position size? This is all something that you have to test out. This is all something that you have to test out and, get a little bit more comfortable with. And it just takes time. There's not an exact dollar amount, not an exact percentage. It's, you still want to make sure that the margin of profit is worth it, but at the end of the day, there is no, in my eyes, exact percentage or dollar amount. It's, it's all about like just getting a feel of when it makes sense to average up, and for everyone, it's going to be different. Every trade is different, and you need to trade, Alrighty, guys, /NQ. I'm going to go ahead and get some food real quick, and then I'll be right on back, but, Zane, I think that you just asked the question. I think that I'm happy that you asked it, right? So would you recommend to trade a stock currently at its new highest price as a new resistance, or wait for a pullback? I think it would make more sense to wait for a pullback and wait for that confirmation. But if something is progressively making higher highs and you think that it's going to continue to rally, set up a plan. You'll get in, but where are you going to cut losses? Just thinking about that. So, DWT is consolidating right now. So, I'll be in the trade ideas. I don't know if I'll jump back. I'll probably trade for maybe like 2 more hours, and then, but I'll keep you guys up to date with what I'm paying attention to. So, I really do appreciate your guys' time. Thank you guys again for, simply tuning on in. I feel like we answered a lot of questions in today's video, so hopefully it was somewhat informative for some of you. And if you guys have any further questions, feel free to send me a direct message on Discord, and I'd be more than happy to answer for you. If you've sent me a message within the past, like if it's been more than 24 hours and I haven't gotten back to you, do me a favor and just like send me like a period or something like that, so it pushes it back up. I don't mean to ignore any of your guys' messages. Sometimes I accidentally click on it, and if like it goes away, then it's hard for me to find it with like the hundreds of messages. But yeah, appreciate you guys' time. Hope you guys have an amazing rest of your Wednesday. Continue working hard, continue following dreams out your passion, be the drive to success. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy.